Good morning, students. Welcome you all to the academic session 2020-21. At the outset, let me introduce you all to the syllabus and the books prescribed for Standard 12 for the subject English. Apart from reading and the writing section, we have got the literature section that consists of two books. One is the Flamingo and the other one is the Vistas. Today, we are going to start a chapter from the book Flamingo, and the first chapter from Flamingo is entitled The Last Lesson. Before discussing the said chapter, The Last Lesson, let me throw light on the socio-political condition pertaining to this chapter, The Last Lesson. It all started with the Franco-Prussian War that took place in the early 1870s, in which the French were defeated and the then Prussians had their control over France. The then Prussia was consisted of Germany, Poland and parts of Austria. Order came from Berlin to replace the French language teaching with the German language teaching. Simply speaking, no more French language teaching will be rendered in the two French districts of Alsace and Lorraine. More surprisingly, in this chapter, the narrator is a boy, is a schoolboy named Franz. And the chapter began like this. On that particular day, Franz was already late for school, and he was in a hurry because most of the time, suppose he get rebuked by his teachers, especially Mr. Hamill. Mr. Hamill is a strict disciplinarian, and on that particular day, Franz was in a hurry because he was already late for school. And some of those incidents that took place on that particular day that made him to think. Even a boy like Franz started to think that something must have gone on very unusual. First thing is that some of the people told him that there is no point in hurrying to school. He has got a lot of time left. And even suppose he saw a huge gathering at the bulletin board. That took him by surprise because according to Franz, who was also the narrator of the chapter, all their bad news comes through that bulletin board, and maybe something bad even today. And suppose ignoring the request made by all those people that there is no hurry to get to the school, finally he got to school. And when he got to the vicinity of the school, he was taken by surprise. He was quite surprised that it was appearing to be a Sunday morning. Even though it was a working day for the school, it was seeming to be a Sunday morning. And there was no pulling and pushing of the benches. There was no howling by the students. Suppose no sounds even made by any other, including the teachers, because all the students, they are taking their positions very quietly in a disciplined manner. And he was quite surprised, and he made his entry like many other occasions late to the classroom. Mr. Hamill had already started giving his lessons, and Franz remembered that Mr. Hamill had given them some homework on participles, and Franz is not that good in study. Most of the time, Franz suppose concentrating on many other things rather than study. So Hamill, while continuing suppose his class while giving a lecture. In between, he told friend to take his position, and he said that okay, he had already just starting, suppose is giving his lesson to the students, and friend was quite surprised that he did not receive any sort of reaction or objection from his teacher, Mr. Hamill. So he took a seat, and he's still surprised, suppose recollecting about Worcester, the blacksmith, the crowd at the bulletin board, the gathering at the bulletin board, and so much of silence inside the school atmosphere. No rebuking or protesting on the part of Mr. Hamill.